Hi everyone, and welcome back to my No Buy Year. Today, I had a couple of things that happened that I really wanted to share because I think they are important markers on my journey on this path of metamorphosis. So these two things happened to me yesterday, and my thoughts and reactions to them were so impactful to me, which is a little bit of a weird thing to say because they're my own thoughts and my own responses, but I was able to observe the change between how I used to respond to how I respond now, the things that I notice, the things that strike me as valuable or not. And to quit being cryptic about it, I'm just going to go ahead and outline the two specific instances that happened yesterday that gave me all these feelings and thoughts and reactions. So the first one is a little more straightforward, and the second one is kind of a response to another YouTuber's video. And it might get a little bit hairy because, as always, I don't want it to come off as critical or preachy or even negative or judgmental, so I'm going to try to handle that with caution. Back to the first story, the simple one. We went out for dinner at a sushi restaurant, and I saw in this restaurant a group of people, and the woman of the party was noticeably dressed in some trendy pieces. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that she knows that they're trendy, but I do suspect that that's why she had them. So specifically, she had on an outfit comprised of a white button-down top, classic, pair of jeans, classic, and then some earrings, gold hoops it looked like, with maybe little diamonds. I wasn't that close, so I couldn't see great detail, but the trendy pieces were the accessories. The bag was one of the Baggu shoulder bags that's everywhere on social media, and the shoes were like kind of patent leather, black, slingback, ballet flats with some kind of hardware on them. So again, a very trendy piece going around on social media. And it got me thinking, I never want to go back to the place of being a victim of the trends. I used to view that terminology as in relation to fashion and poor styling, right? You are a victim of the trends if you are following them without being able to style them in a way. If you are creating maybe less than ideal outfits just because you want to follow a trend. That's what I used to think being a victim to trends was. But now I actually I'm starting to think that being a victim to trends is feeling compelled to interact with them at all. And this is extreme, I am aware of that, and I'm not saying that I'll never go back to interacting with trends. I may even interact with trends in the nearer future on this channel as a way of commenting on things that I used to do when I would see things coming out as fall trends and whatnot. But when I saw this woman in the sushi restaurant, it struck me that I did not like, first of all, the idea of having to participate in the trends or having the desire to participate in the trends. So I no longer like that. And I no longer like the fact that I have an awareness of what's trending. It was kind of a red flag to me that I could look at her outfit and know that bag is trending, those shoes are trending. I don't want to be there anymore. I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't want to know. I don't want to have that on my radar. So I don't care to have the goal of participating in the trends or the goal of knowing about the trends in a way that fosters my own consuming of them. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. My interaction with them will be on the basis of what are they trying to sell us now? What is the cycle of, why are the companies pushing this right now? And would we otherwise have bought it if it wasn't being pushed to us? So anyway, that was my real life example of trends spotted in the wild and my newfound feelings of no longer caring to participate, no longer wanting to participate. Now, moving on to the kind of more fraught example. I'm really going to try to treat this with sensitivity and compassion, and I'm not going to mention any names, although for those of you who have seen the video I'm talking about, it will be very obvious to you who this is. My intention is not to shame, judge, or even comment on that creator. It's all focused on my reactions to what I was presented with. Okay, so that's the disclaimer going in. This story and this reaction is kind of about the obsession with stuff. I had a very insightful comment on an earlier video talking about how these people are using the word obsessed to talk about stuff. Thank you for the comment, by the way. And it got some alarm bells ringing in my brain. So first of all, the feeling of being obsessed with stuff. Now I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, this is exactly what they want us to think. This is how brands, companies, even influencers want us to feel about stuff, because that's what gets us to chase stuff, to buy stuff, to want stuff, to keep us in the constant cycle of obsession, of focusing our time, energy, and money on the stuff. So I was watching this creator's video, and I was extremely jarred when they said they were obsessed with a pair of earrings that they incidentally were sent in PR. Being sent them in PR is neither here nor there, really, because the focus of the matter for me was that they said they were obsessed with the item. And this is somebody who talks about being conscious about consuming things, about shopping, about choosing what to bring into their lives. I've come to realize that people can be conscious about this in the way of the collector or the way of the curator, in that their obsession is indeed still on the material item. They're being conscious about curating the item and not conscious necessarily about whether or not they need to shop in the first place. Before doing a no buy, where my automatic answer to shopping is no, I wouldn't have seen that. That consciousness can masquerade as curating, as steps that you take on your inevitable search for buying stuff, instead of whether or not you need to buy stuff in the first place. So that's the first thing. The second, and even more jarring and horrifying thing to me, and that's a strong word, but let me unpack this and you can kind of get a sense of what I really mean. So the video premise was 5 versatile items that you can add to your wardrobe, which, okay, I appreciate the use of can instead of should, and, you know, the lack of value assignment, the fact that it's a personal show, I guess, of 5 versatile pieces for this particular person. The moment that really jarred me was when they were talking about a pair of earrings and referred to a time when her husband was making a video of her and her baby laughing on the couch or something like that. And the creator said that this video was so beautiful because of the earrings. And again, I don't want to judge. I don't want to put words in the creator's mouth or assign value to the words that came out of their mouth, because they did say this. And somebody did edit it and decide that it was appropriate to release that. So this could be an entirely me problem or a me development, and I'm going to choose to treat it as such because that's all I know to be true for sure. But when I heard that, I was a little horrified, because the beauty in the moment of laughing with your baby on the couch should not be attributed to a pair of earrings. It should not be enhanced by a pair of earrings, in my opinion. I think the beauty would be there whether or not the earrings were there. And I understand partly, you know, I, as a seeker to understand always, I do understand the feeling of being more put together at some times than not. Incidentally, I am not that put together for this video. I didn't put on makeup or contacts. It wasn't really an intentional choice. I just felt compelled to share these realizations and stories while they were still fresh, and therefore am doing it in my homeware. Hopefully you don't mind. But I do understand the feeling of being more put together than not, and how the little details can make a difference in how you feel. But just talking about the beauty of a moment as tied to an object, a material thing, and especially when that moment involves other people, and most especially to me right now, when I also have a baby, when that moment is tied to a baby, how can somebody talk about stuff in that moment? Again, I really don't want to come off as judgmental. I don't want to come off as value assigning. I am guilty of this too. I'm just as guilty. I have been as guilty. I will continue to be guilty of not giving my time and attention to the things that matter the most. I'm openly struggling with phone and content addiction, let's say. And I know for a fact that there are times that I'm on my phone when I'm also interacting with my babies and am not giving them their due love and attention that they deserve. I'm not appreciating the beauty of the moments with them that I have. They could be fleeting. They are fleeting, and I'm never going to know how fleeting until they're over. So all that to say, I am just as guilty. I'm not trying to say this person is bad, but I was jarred and startled by hearing somebody talk about the beauty of a moment with their child in reference to a pair of earrings. And I guess that's a big part of the work that I'm trying to do this year, is to be able to look at those moments and realize, no, I don't want to be focusing on the wrong thing. I don't want to be focusing on the stuff or my phone or the idea of consuming content and gaining ideas and kind of learning and or seeking dopamine when I should just be present and appreciating what I have and who I'm with. That is perhaps one of the most important things about the work that I'm doing this year. And my reaction to seeing somebody else express these things, again, I'm presenting it to you as evidence of my change, my transformation, my metamorphosis, from which I will hopefully emerge as a fully fledged butterfly of conscious consumerism, having shed my old ways after spending time in the pupa of deep reflection and responding to these things. I was the caterpillar. Who are you? But back to the matter at hand. The other reason this was so disillusioning for me is that this creator was somebody that I really used to look up to, and I still do admire. I used to think that if I was ever on YouTube, I would be like this person, and I would want to be like this person. And I'm realizing that that's no longer the path that I want to take. As kind of a side note, this particular video with 5 versatile pieces you can add was also saturated with links in the description. It felt almost like a thinly veiled attempt to present 5 things for sale, as an attempt to perhaps get their audience to buy 1 or more of these 5 things, using their affiliate links and getting some kickback as part of their job. And they did disclose that in the description that they were affiliate links. I don't think they said it verbally in their video, if that makes a difference to anybody observing. To me, it kind of does, because it's not presenting a direct appeal. Words in a text box are never going to come across the same as speaking and seeing your face on a screen. I actually almost left a comment on this person's video to offer perhaps my kind criticism, but for those very reasons, the fact that words are always going to appear different on the screen versus talking in context and seeing your tone and face. And then finally realizing, perhaps more importantly, that this journey is mine and mine alone, and what other people choose to do is their business, and my path is really just about me. So at the end of the day, it matters not whether this person knows how I think and feel. At the same time, I do hope that I've presented this in a way where if this person did see it, it would be interpreted as compassionate criticism. My reaction and reflection is not even really supposed to be a critique of this creator. Back to the links in the description though, I do have to wonder, did this person do this on purpose? Was this planned as a sales pitch when they conceived the video? I actually do believe that this person has an amazing strength for romanticizing everything about their life. And I think that's why they succeeded at their no-buy year. That's part of the reason why, because they could wax poetic on everything they wanted to buy and why they didn't. And the strength of that romanticization carried them through the no-buy year. It helped them not break any of their rules. It helped them stay strong to their convictions. They did also spend a lot of money on replacements at Sephora and on gifts. So in a way, they got their shopping fixes like that, which I'm not really doing. Beyond my failures of my no-buy year in April and then a little bit later, I can link the videos up here, I don't have any more leeway on my list of exceptions to shop anymore. I do also have a small win to share, because in my past life, if I watched a video of 5 versatile things that you can add to your wardrobe, I used to imagine what I would look like in those items. I used to start fantasizing about which one I should add, possibly multiple items I should add, and start clicking on links and looking at options and comparing price points and qualities and all of that. And even if I just chose the best one for me, I would think I was being conscious in my approach to purchasing. Whereas now, I looked at the 5 items and I thought, wow, the only one of these, or the only ones of these that actually apply to me are things I already have and use, and the other ones I don't even like and would not like on me. So I consider that an elevated sense of awareness for my own habits of consumerism as well. So that's a small win. I want to conclude this by saying that this creator has been, and to some degree is, a major inspiration for me and for starting this channel on YouTube. And for that, I am grateful. I'm grateful in as much as my experience with this creator's content has become a little bit of a part of who I am. I kind of talked about this in my personality video. I like to collect little attributes from people and experiences in my life to weave them into the fabric of my own personality. If you think all the personality type stuff is mumbo jumbo, I am with you on that as well. I'm kind of divided on how useful I think it actually is. I do continue to watch this creator's content occasionally for inspiration, and as it turns out, yesterday, for reflection and realization. And it almost serves as a marker of how far I have come, noticing how my reactions and responses have changed. So really, in some ways, instances like this provide the continued tools for growth and reflection. I hope I managed to express today what I experienced yesterday. These are very, very fresh thoughts and emotions. I didn't really let them settle before talking about them, which is not usually what I do. I also, like I said, did not prep myself for this video, so here we are in all the glasses and the glory. I guess to summarize my experiences, I have learned that trends are no longer for me, and I'm now seeing them as perhaps more of a cynical person and a less romantic person. I see the trends as a way for businesses and companies and influencers to push more products for us to buy, to give us another cycle of things to want, and to kind of create false senses of community through participating in them. And secondly, I no longer want to be even remotely obsessed with stuff. And while I could have told you those things a few months ago, I did not feel them as truly and intensely as I do today. And with that, I will leave you for now, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. I kind of want to compile audio clips of various influencers saying that they're obsessed with this item, with this or with that, and put them all back to back and observe the horrifying result of that as well. What do you think about that? Would you watch it? Would you feel the turn in your stomach listening to all these people talk about material possessions and their levels of obsession with them? Let me know if I should try to make some kind of art piece based on obsession with material goods.